Welcome to Surefire Fantasy Football Podcast, coming to you live from the basement with your hosts, Will Schumann, Zach Bunton, and Logan Turpin.
Mike's not here. What the heck is going on?
Upgrade.
Did you notice this beforehand, or be honest with me?
No, I definitely did. We spent big contract money on this. It was time.
We decided it was time to cut Mike. He was okay while he was here, but, well, let's be honest. He wasn't okay. He sucked.
We knew who the weak link was.
Yep.
And now you got me for this week, so.
Welcome, everybody. Week 2, week 1 of football
Real football.
is in the bag.
Amazing football,
Amazing
too.
week of football.
Thursday night. Sunday night.
That's it, yeah.
Monday night.
No matter what, the 1 o'clock games, if you watch them on Red Zone, they're good. You're getting something. The primetime games were all freaking great. They were so good. They were good for fantasy. They were good for watching a football game.
Yep.
They were just good. I don't have as high expectations this week, but you know what? That was
done.
the best week 1 football I could have hoped for, and we got it. It was fun for most people. It didn't do great, but it was still good football. I liked watching the football part of it.
Yeah.
And we will get to that.
Yeah.
There were
get to
5
that.
winners and there were 5 losers.
Unfortunately, we have to get to that part, but not yet. Not yet. So welcome, everybody. Surefire Fantasy Football. Week 2, going into week 2. We had a fun week 1. I was unfortunately a loser. I think
Poop bowl.
this guy over here was a loser.
Yep.
Mike's replacement, Zach,
Also a
was
loser.
also a loser.
Yeah,
so
So come join us for all your fantasy knowledge.
You probably don't want to. You should just turn off the podcast
take
now.
these tips. Yeah. Let's not. I don't want to. I'm gonna try to delay as long as I can to what happened.
we can start off with mine, and it's pretty simple because I will admit what happened.
Yeah.
So
let's just start it off then. So you did lose. You went out. You were strong there for a little bit, but Brad did come back, and he would stay true to his bet.
Yeah, he did.
He bet on himself, and he won. He
Max
won
bet.
with the points of 120 to 109.
he got me by 10. I got Tyreek killed. And on top of that, I had Pat Mahomes, and I would be okay if it felt like it was natural. That 75-yard toss just killed me.
What'd you say? Tyreek killed? Tyreek killed?
Tyreek killed.
That's so good. Tyreek killed.
But
Sorry, I got really excited. Tyreek killed. That was good.
But at the same time, he deserved the win. Swift, everyone went off, so we can just move past mine and just know that I'm on my way to the 6th seed to take out either Kevin or Mike in a 1 seed.
Just know that Tyreek killed.
He did.
Tyreek
And he
killed.
won't do it next week, and that someone will.
Doesn't
want
matter
to-
because you're not playing him.
No. Hopefully he does it again. Then I'm calling this the matchup of the week. These teams balled out. They competed in every matchup possible, and it still came down to the Monday night game, I believe. And it was natural born Kylers of Kevin versus the Dream Team of Jordan with basically a 14-point difference, but scoring almost 160 points to 145. Wow.
He's always got he went back to the name, the Dream Team, luckily, to make it a little bit more easier on us. What does that mean, the Dream Team? Does anybody know?
The Dream Team?
The Dream
But what's the
Team.
point of... Oh, it's the Dream Team. I've never noticed that.
Dream
it
Team,
is.
yeah.
Once I read the Dream, I'm always like, Dream Team. Okay, it's the Dream Team.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Poor Jordan, he lost this matchup with easily the second highest score of the week.
Yes.
He deserved to lose just because... he didn't deserve to lose, I guess, but he got beat, and he got beat good because Kevin went crazy.
You had Debo, you had everyone going off. I mean, Kevin didn't even rely on Jonathan
different
Taylor.
from you,
anymore.
yeah.
People
It
that
was
didn't
different
need
from
to go
you.
crazy
Yeah.
went freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, sorry, Jordan.
Happens.
We also had Robin Full Chubb against this guy over here. Zeke and Destroy. I may be skipping a matchup, but we can just avoid. Logan lost this to the consensus number 1 in our rankings. He was supposed to lose. He did lose, but he really could have won this matchup. It looked good for him. There were a lot of times during the week where I thought he was going to win this matchup.
Because the Packers.
Yeah.
And no, this one definitely hurts because if there was a week to beat Robin, it was the week when Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams just didn't have it going. And
I think I saw he finished as like the 33rd or 35th quarterback. And
you got Fields and Lance.
Yeah.
To me, it shows why we were right in where we ranked him. The fact that his first round pick or second round pick and his number 1 quarterback, who he drafted somewhat early-ish.
Oh, and that 4th round pick too with Waller.
No, not that one. I'm talking about those two guys. Those two guys dudded for him in Rodgers and Adams, and yet he still put up 116 points. I mean, that won't happen again, especially against Detroit. So that's great. Good for him.
Hope they show up the rest of the year. Otherwise, it's tough as a Packers fan and fantasy. But
I see what I skipped. I skipped not mine.
Yeah, but
I was trying to skip my matchup.
We'll go to the other matchup of Moneyman Mike versus Belichick yourself as adult, with Mike coming through with a pretty easy win. It seemed like it'd be close there for a bit, and I feel like Mike pulled a typical Mike, and once 1 touchdown came, 3 followed, and he kind of gained the lead and just stuck with it. So solid week by Mike, and kind of same thing for Mike. It does show the strength of his team because there were question marks with Barkley and not some strong performances by other players. So it's good for him to start off 1-0, but I don't know if he can carry it much further. And then the other matchup of the week.
Yeah, the Pooh Bowl, the good old Pooh Bowl, where Watson's happy ending, Coleman defeated Monaco Man, truly over here, Will.
With a pretty big score, right?
The biggest score. The biggest score of the league. No, actually, this was the lowest scoring.
I didn't care. I didn't care.
So
clearly
I didn't care.
There's one big question everyone has asked. Why Ruggs there?
Poor Coleman. He needs something. Poor guy.
You just felt bad for him.
He needs something.
So you benched Josh Jacobs to throw the match.
I did bench Josh Jacobs, everybody. And you guys know me well enough to know that's just what I do. I started the day off. It was Sunday night, right? And I got a notification. I was already pretty bummed that my team didn't do that good, but I was feeling good that I still looked like I had a good chance to win it. And I get the notification telling me Josh Jacobs questionable now, and it's like
illness too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got depressed just instantly. I didn't message anybody about it. I just saw it. I had just come downstairs from my 12 hours of watching football upstairs. I'd just come downstairs. I saw it. I was like, crap. I threw my phone down on the bed, watched the game, didn't even look at my phone for a while. Thought about it the next day. It took a very long time for them to declare he was going to play. In fact, it was still so up in the air that the way I was looking at it was, yes, if it was the toe injury thing and they had announced Sunday night he's going to play, then I'm playing him. But it was already the toe injury, which he had just gotten cleared of. Then he was sick, which happened Sunday night, playing Monday, and it took until an hour before the game, hour and a half before the game, before they announced that he would play.
And
you get those two things going on, and yes, I made a mistake, and I always do. And the entire time making up my mind on that pick, I thought, no matter who I pick, I'm just going to remember that this was the mistake that I made.
But in the sense of overthinking, I mean, wouldn't have you felt better? I get Kenyon Drake. You made some valid points when you shared all your comments in the group chat, but wouldn't you feel better losing with Ruggs on the bench who happened to pop off versus a Josh Jacobs who you drafted?
In the
hindsight, yes.
And he's going to fall in the end zone at least once. So you'd rather lose by 1 point by him.
Oh, that's not a guarantee. So listen, the guy got less than freaking 30 rushing yards and no receiving yards. The guy did nothing. He just got those touchdowns, and that I didn't see as a guarantee in what I thought was going to be a very negative game script. And also, I didn't want to lose with a chance that my guy didn't play and then me being depressed watching the whole game, because I thought there was a massive, massive chance that Josh Jacobs starts that game and doesn't play even like a quarter of it.
It's
like
tough.
he just doesn't play. Whereas at least with Ruggs, who I wasn't confident in, but at least with Ruggs, I knew the guy was playing. Now, just so you know, I went into that matchup knowing, because of all that was going on, that I felt like I had a much lower chance of winning that game than losing it. I thought I was going to lose. So I still did lose. It sucks that happened, and I'm shocked that it did.
You made it
because
exciting for everyone else.
He got the rushing touchdowns. But I was at least right in the fact that guy didn't perform. He got touchdowns, and that freaking sucks. And I was so wrong to not take the star on my team. But I really didn't want to lose with having a guy that I thought wouldn't play.
And I think we can continue to talk about it. I think everyone's got things to say, and we could berate you on it. It's just it was interesting to see where you came to that decision, and I'm just going with Kevin swayed you, and you should just be mad at Kevin.
You can also see that you also went through that before already with Ayuk. He was injured most of the preseason, and he didn't play. That could have also affected you a little bit there.
You all right, buddy?
I'm blocking out the haters.
There's 9 of us you got to block out.
Exactly.
So, but we did, part of week
Ayuk,
1.
by the way, is
He's
word
in the
I can't
doghouse.
say. He's
He's
crap.
in the doghouse. It's rough.
He's
Good luck
absolute
with
crap.
that.
I don't want to ever own a San Francisco player again other than Trey Lance.
Oh, I do. I want all of them.
I know
Well,
you do.
You
We'll get to that.
you
Actually,
know.
can we get to that now?
We're gonna get to that.
Let's freaking get to
we
that.
were ready to spend some money. We had waiver day.
Remember when that guy over there sent a text in the chat saying he was really excited for tomorrow, last night, for waivers?
I thought he was excited because he was gonna sit back, have some popcorn, and just watch.
We now know why.
Pick up one of these guys. I'm gonna go through real quick, but no, did something I didn't expect. But just some notable waiver pickups.
Skip to the good one, then we can go over the other ones. We've already hyped it up.
You want to go right to it? We're gonna talk
He
about
spent
it.
$90 freaking dollars on him.
87 for Elijah Mitchell, San Francisco potential starting running back. To you, why? Why 87?
87. And I'll tell you what, I went back and forth on this one, right? So first it was around 50, 60. I was going to go in that range right there. But then once I heard, Mostert's out for the rest of the year,
Yep.
I was like, this is it. I got to go all in. This is the guy, you spend your fab on one guy, really, the big guy. And this is my big guy this year. So, I hear all the stories about Trey. You hear that, everything, you could take over. Trust me, I like Trey as much as the next guy. He's an Ohio State player.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm actually going against an Ohio State guy here. I mean, there was a reason why, he was a healthy scratch. They put Mitchell in over him.
And Kyle Shanahan's proving that with Ayuk.
Yeah, and
previous.
people are going to say, they always switch out running backs or anything, but that's just because they literally get hurt all the time. Mostert's constantly injured. I mean, Wilson got injured a bunch last year, and he's injured again this year. I mean, he can come back in week 6, but by that time, it's like Mitchell's either, won me a couple games already, or he's taken over the backfield. So it's like,
I think that's the shock for me is like, I put 52 on him, which is absurd for me. I just didn't expect you. The number is a lot, but also it wasn't an expectation because you kind of have a solid team. But
For some reason, I expected you to do it. Now I think about it, I don't know why I did, but I did expect you to put that on him.
I did.
Technically, the person who should have put the most, well, not 82 or 87 would have been Coleman, but Coleman's team's fine. This is going to reflect maybe bad on me. It kind of shows how little I know about college football. I just don't have any interest in it because fantasy is so prevalent. And then I get other sports after football season's over. So Trey Lance is from Ohio State?
no, Trey Sherman, the backup running back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I thought Fields was from Ohio State. It's like they're
Fields
both from
is-
Ohio
yeah.
State? Okay. So I, after thinking about it enough, obviously at the time, shock, $87 on
Gonna be fun.
a running back for that team. But also, he makes a good point. Logan makes a good point here. That's what Fab's for. You have the rest of your money to use on the small pickups. You have that one that you have to get all year. Otherwise, you're playing it for a bunch of medium pickups, which is also okay if you're trying to do like $10 to pick up each week.
Traditionally do this, don't you? You're always like one of the early big spenders.
Last year, I went out pretty early. I forget who I picked up, but
I think it's
mean,
pretty
I go and get the guy I like for you only get really one time to do it, so I felt like this is, like I said, my
Super
one
high
time.
ceiling.
Yeah,
He's got a floor, but I don't think you're ever gonna do. I think 99% of the time that big waiver pickup's always gonna have a really low floor, really high ceiling. I'm fine with it. At the time, I thought I wasn't, but yeah, I'm totally fine with it, and I get it. So
I am too. I thought I was going with 52, so I think I'm a little little butthurt.
After
I think-
the performance I saw from some of my running backs this week, I'm not really sold on him 100%. And so this is a guy that, he outscored my running backs. He's on a great team that can run the ball. I mean, they love Mostert, and they say this guy's just as fast as Mostert. We saw it. So
Yeah.
even if he doesn't have to get 19 touches like he did. If he gets 10, just like they did with Mostert, I mean, he could just take off. And he just
Good
points.
flex play.
So.
We did have 2 other pickups. Some guys that the names talk a lot, but either injury or age kind of turn them away. And Will, you picked one of them up, Mike Williams for $18, and Moneyman Mike picking up Gronk for $8, and they both balled out. But injuries and sharing the ball on those teams are big questions. I personally feel 18 was a little high for Mike Williams, but you got to go out and get him. But if you want to talk about injury prone, that's my nerves with him. So
Let's talk about not injury prone. What is this guy not injury prone? He's a superstar wide receiver who, on average, averages over 1,500 yards a season if he's never missed a game. If you take his games and you average them out, that's where he's at.
He was drafted to be a
1,400
superstar.
something.
He's not a superstar.
He
and
has been when he's played. So let's
Eckler-
just say that happens. Let's say that magic thing happens. He's owned in 80% of leagues right now. We were one of the really, really rare leagues he's not owned. I needed a wide receiver. I could not get him. And if you believe the quarterback whisperer Coleman, who has the quarterback who we're throwing to him, he's gonna he's gonna kill it all year. So there's even if got Allen, he's gonna be good. And he had 12 targets and a touchdown.
Eckler didn't have any catches, and I think that's a big factor where it comes down. But I like the pickup.
No
I put
matter
money
what,
on
12
him.
and a touchdown, I'm happy.
Do we know what the second highest bid was?
It
on
was
that
me
one?
at 10. I love the pickup.
Yeah.
I was hoping that no one else
Was
would
you
go.
at 10? I thought someone won 11.
If someone 11, then that was.
I think, no, yeah. Robin won 11.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he was. I love the
good job
pickup
then.
for you. It was a good pickup. I
Are
agree.
you starting him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have been, but Odell.
Odell
that
got
guy.
announced. Yeah. So just gonna obviously we know where Rob Gronk is. I think Mike picked him up to create some trade because he has Kittle. So he's either gonna trade Kittle or trade Gronk.
Or he wants them both. You don't know. You don't know the guy.
I bet Gronk gets dropped in 2 weeks. So, but other notable pickups: Damian Williams, Mark Ingram, ouch, Kenneth Gainwell, Justin Fields, and then the Browns and Saints defense. So
Kenneth Gainwell did get picked up and then traded. Yes.
I don't think so.
No?
You're foreseeing something, I guess.
Oh, no.
Are you looking into my phone?
You guys know we already interviewed before, right? Don't they know?
Well, yeah. If you're telling the secret, we're all trying to act normal over here.
Oh, I see what you're saying because you want that. Yeah.
A big surprise.
Kenneth
but-
Gainwell may get traded.
Let us know
But
what you
they
think.
know. Everyone
Yes,
knows. Yeah.
They know currently
Yeah.
in real life.
Kenneth Gainwell may get traded.
Yeah.
We did have a
Stay tuned. It is exciting. It happens. It may happen live on the show. It was pretty exciting.
It was. We did have a trade. Really, it was the second trade of the year, but really felt like the first one. But it was just as not exciting as the first one, and it's
Yeah, I still felt like zero trades.
it's Brad going and picking up handcuffs that he could have drafted. So
And
it's
Kevin
smart.
potentially getting a guy that could.
Yeah, I think that's why I struggle with
Maybe
Brad.
be a play sometimes,
Yeah.
possibly, but probably not.
I feel like the only thing I don't like with Brad is he's trading away tools that you could use in package deals or bye weeks and things like that. I get the handcuff concept, but everyone talks about it. You can handcuff too much. But it was Kevin received Marvin Jones and Brad received A.J. Dillon, who is the backup for Aaron Jones in the Packers. So really,
not a player I want to back up for either. After week one, obviously I'm thinking that team gets better, but based on the way week one went, if the team doesn't get a lot better, I wouldn't want the backup to a guy who was absolutely booty
as well.
cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that would just mean that you're getting a player that's even worse. So you get maybe 4 points out or 2 points out of him that week. But I mean, yeah, I assume that team will be better.
Yeah.
But it's not a handcuff I'm searching for.
nope. That was a better trade tool we could have saved, but I get it. No one, it's not even worth talking about.
I'm also not needing Marvin Jones. For me, honestly, in my opinion, he's the third best wide receiver on that team. I think it's Chark and Shenault tied right now based off the way week one went. They both looked really good. I think Chark looks like he's going to be the guy who gets the big time touchdowns. I think Shenault looks like the guy who's going to get more receptions. I think Marvin Jones is going to be that third guy who also can do both. I think he does both those kinds of things and can be good.
I think he's a veteran. He's going to get trusted, but yeah, it's a three-headed monster, but it's not the Cowboys or one of those teams.
Yeah, exactly.
But a team that's going to be down a lot, throwing the ball up.
Yeah. Rankings, always the most exciting part, but week 2, obviously we're just now talking. There wasn't a lot of trades. We really just now the second exciting waiver pickup. So not too many changes, but there were a few drastic big movers. But we're going to go through them, and you guys have access to seeing all the rankings on our spreadsheet. So
spreadsheet also does have our bets, which we'll get into our odds, but
stay tuned for that.
Make sure you're checking on that.
It's the hub.
We also might have a Discord coming, which is going to have
working
make
hard
this
on that.
way better. All this access.
Make sure you do text Mike and I individually. Just put us in a group chat together.
For bets.
Yeah, for bets. Yep. Just so we can, jot it down. If you put in the Surefire Fantasy, it might get lost just because of all the talk that goes on. So just make sure.
Talk about a couple bets from last week and this week that are happening.
Yeah.
Or at least one that I just made live on the podcast. I think 2. I've made a few. Yeah. So
these are consensus.
These are consensus rankings. I want to go over 2 things. So first, where we are or where the person is, number 10, that's me. I don't think anyone's surprised by this. I'm last. I think if Coleman loses that game and I start Jacobs, I'm probably 9th and Coleman's last, maybe. Or
I think I agree. I mean, it's hard, knowing where everyone ranked, but I think you guys were consistently there. We said that you were in the Pooh Bowl. So you did not receive a vote higher than 8, but Coleman did receive a 3, which I maybe give him a 5, but 3, yeah, that's rough.
He also, Coleman received a 6, I believe, and a 3, which helped push him very close to. He may be 70, maybe 8, wherever he was very close to moving up a spot.
Wow.
He's 8. He was very, very close based on our later rankings to getting up to 8. Maybe he does deserve it now that I look at his team. He had a really bad week, but he did get a win, so he starts the season right in a good position.
Yeah.
And his team still looks potential. But yeah,
let's move past.
My highest ranking was 8. That's my problem. Highest ranking 8, lowest 9. I was by far and away last. I dropped down 1 spot from last week.
And Coleman went up 1. You guys traded, and it was basically you guys played each other. And
this is a pretty.
Yeah.
This is basically last year and the year before in terms of where we are in our rankings. I flirted with some stuff last year, so did he, but yeah.
It's tough. Things are new, and you guys just didn't start the year off right. But I was surprised. There were a few big people that moved and switched, but this person wasn't one, and that's Dalt coming in at 8. He went down a position. Highest rank he received was a 5, and he received a last place vote as well. Couple. So
you received 2.
I think his biggest problem there with his is just right now the running backs.
No depth.
And people are just kind of wondering about it because the Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones still is everyone's mind. So.
I personally like Dalt's team a whole lot, but yeah, I also see the problems with Dalt's team. The next on our list is actually our biggest faller. Not necessarily deservedly so in terms of how much he's fallen, but I think maybe was ranked really high, and that's our new co-host or our replacement co-host, Logan over here, aka Zeke and Destroy. Dropped 4 places, now in 7th, previously 3rd, which I was surprised looking back on this, remembering that he was 3rd, which is really high. Your team looked good throughout the week. I thought your team was good. I don't think there's any problems with your team. I didn't personally rank you. I think I had you a little bit higher than this, but it's one of those things where if you have some, these middle tier teams, you got to go with the teams that win, and he was in one of those middle tiers for me, so I took him. I put him a little
that's
lower.
That's what it is too. I still need my team needs to prove itself too.
And you had a big pickup. Yeah, man. Yeah, you had 2 people show up, and no one else did.
No one else did. So I mean, this is. So I think once we prove it and stuff like that, I mean, I'm okay with 7th. I would put myself there too. I'm still looking for it too. So
you just hurt me because
I would personally put myself last. So
I had you number 1.
Yeah.
And that.
Hey, we'll get back there.
All right, I was supporting that. So
I do like your team. Big fan. Next on our list, who we got? We got another podcaster, a host. Dropping 1 place, Zach Bunton, a.k.a.
The Cinderella Story.
The Cinderella Story.
Starting off right.
Yeah.
He was previously 5th, now 6th. He took an L and only dropped 1 spot, so that's pretty good. Zach's team for me is a very unique team. It's very, very strong or very, very weak, depending on where you're looking at, especially positionally. I think starters-wise, he's insanely strong. If you take away a flex, he's the best team in the league. Flex-wise, he might be one of the worst in the league. So that's where I look at Zach.
I will say
I think
one
he's
thing.
positioned pretty well.
His running back depth, and I think this is what hurt you the most today, is it's pretty low down there. So it's not looking pretty. How about
He's
that?
been here before.
Yeah, he has.
I've always been here, but there's something different about a preseason injury, and I can't remember anything like this drastic. I've either drafted that person intentionally, but losing Gus Edwards, that was a lot. I do really believe in Williams for Denver. I just got to get there, and that 70-yard Melvin Gordon touchdown
Hurts you.
hurt it. But
I like Melvin early season, but I agree with you on that.
So I got to get there. I view Williams as the Cam Akers, maybe not to that level because the Broncos aren't as good as the Rams, but I definitely think he's the type of guy that wins championships.
The thing I see with you this year compared to last year, though, now more upright talent, but in every other year I've played with you, you always have those sit and wait guys on the bench that are coming back. This year you don't have that
last
yet.
Year,
yeah,
so.
This year, and he had a few last year. This year, not sitting on those guys.
They're usually traded or they're my own personal injuries. So we'll still see what happens. But obviously, the only one that was out there right now was Michael Thomas. And that became a big discussion in the draft. Otherwise, I was going to try to snag him.
Who knows about Michael Thomas? That's sketchy. But let's. The next on our list is Mr. COVID himself. If you're wondering why he's not here, Michael Lovett has COVID. He is contagious and toxic, and we don't want anything to do with him anymore.
Still love him.
Number 5, previously number 2, dropped 3 positions.
That's rough.
Yep. His highest, I think, this week was a 4, and his lowest was, what, a 7?
3 and 5.
Oh, 3 and a 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he? Oh, I see that now. Okay. Yeah. That's consistent. I mean, he was always within 3 and 5 between 10 people ranking or 9 people ranking him.
Well, I mean, he snuck by with a win, but he beat one of the lower tier teams based on our rankings. I think people are worried about Saquon. Eckler is constantly being talked about hammy issues.
But Montgomery was a steal.
Montgomery looked great. Yeah. So, but he has no depth on his team, and we'll just see what the season brings.
Yeah, no depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in this position as you right now. Like, he just waited on Barkley. He's got that time. You know, he came away with the win. He's fine. I don't think there's any panic in Mike, you know, so.
That leads us to our next 3, our top 4. Our top 4. Not a single dropper in this top 4. All of them are risers.
Big risers, too.
Yep, one of them stays the same. Number 4 now is Brad. Last week, previously post-draft, obviously, but 8th. So, no surprise
4.
there. He is now 4, yeah. No surprise there. He dropped 120. Looked bad first half of the 1 o'clock games on Sunday. Turned it around. DeAndre Swift got a touchdown. I remember that being a turning point because I was looking at him, and I almost sent a text in the group chat like, Brad looks bad. Decided not to wait it out, see what's going on. All of a sudden, DeAndre Swift gets that touchdown. Gets more points.
And he just
your team stops.
Yep.
Then the Chiefs game happens, right? And
that's when it all...
when...
Oh, no. Not the Chiefs game. It was fine because it was the Browns competing, and then it became like late third quarter.
Yeah, the Chiefs game happens.
The Browns are just like, we're good. We got a comfortable lead, and the next thing you know, Tyreek Hill. Oh, 80 yards of Tyreek Hill, and night, Zach.
So Brad ends up having a really, really good week. Like Brad's team, I think it's another one of those teams where starters are great, bench is bad. Has a lot of handcuffs. He's hoping his starters don't have injuries, but if they don't, incredible. If they do, bad.
He's got handcuffs. He's got the handcuffs.
I don't think that means
he's bulletproof.
Go to the championship no matter what.
Like Brad's team, he bet on himself this week. It paid off.
Yeah, it did.
Brad was kind of his highest rank I think was a 2. What did he get a 2?
Yep.
Actually, I have him on here.
Yep.
Yeah,
but
2.
He did still
but he also had a
7.
7.
Wow.
And you know you got to overreact to your week ones, your after week 1 matchups. And I think the person who did rank him at a 7 had him low pre-season and kept it there. And I do somewhat agree. it's now even longer season. A week won't make or break you. Everything can change. If you think a team's bad, you think a team's bad. Nothing wrong with that. Number three on our list, and let me tell you, these top 3 guys were really close in terms of their average. I think number 3 was still in the 2s. He averaged being about a 2, and number 1 was like 1.9. So it was so close between these 3. And
wow, this is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this. You had to announce who it is, but I
know it looks
I'm
weird when you look at it that way. Yeah,
but I know obviously this person got a lot of that lower tier, but wow.
So this would be Jordan moving up 1 place, previously 4th, lost.
Yeah, that loss I think is what kind of keeps him at that range.
But had an incredible week.
Barely lost.
And already was, he was already 4th, and then had an incredible week. Unlike Kevin, who was ranked poorly before. Obviously, he rose because we haven't said his name yet, but. Jordan was already ranked high and had an incredible week. He did lose. Now, his highest rank was a 1. He got a 1.
Understandable.
Yep. His lowest was a 3. So he was between 1 and 3. And just for context,
I'm assuming he only got like 1.
1-1.
He got 1-1. He only had 1-1.
Maybe 1 or 2 2s, and
quite
everything
a
else
few
was
2s
3s.
and 3s.
Yeah.
Yes, because the next few people were not as consistent in terms of being 1 through 3, but they had a lot more 1s and 2s than Jordan did. Jordan killed it and lost. Poor guy.
Rough.
That's all I got to say about his team. I think his team.
Oh.
I don't particularly like anybody, but I understand that it's strong. So
I think we all know. Yeah.
And he's just got the good bench. He's got Michael Thomas coming back, Antonio Brown. I mean, everybody on his starting is great, except for maybe Robinson was a little scary. But I mean, he did it again.
Scary.
So I mean, he is the champion for a reason. So
obviously the 1 to 3 doesn't prove it, but I don't think people like Jordan's team. But I think they're giving him the respect right now that he deserves. I think
you score 140 points.
Yeah,
you think about it, though.
Yeah.
You think about it, and we'll talk about this in a second. But you think about it, the guy lost, and his lowest vote was a 3.
Yeah.
And let's move on to that.
He lost and got a number 1 vote.
He lost and got a 1 vote, and his lowest was a 3. Now let's move on to number 2, who's Kevin.
Up 4.
Up 4 spots. This
High
guy
score.
won and beat Jordan with the highest score of the
160.
week. 160 points. Yeah. I mean, and he got a 6. So Kevin's highest was a 1, but he also had a 6. Obviously, he had multiple 1s. And I'll tell you, if that 6 was up, maybe even just a 5, but if it was a 4, Kevin would be 1 in the rankings. And it was close on how many 1s they got, but I think if you take away that 6 and make that a 4, which the person who got first was 1 and 4 lowest, I think that Kevin would have won out with the amount of 1s and 2s he got, but he got a 6, and I think that's due to a lot of the doubt on Kevin's team. And we gotta stop looking at this board because the teams are changing, especially with Kevin's, and it's gonna change a lot more because he's our Mr. Trade.
We'll buy more stickers. That's the way to replace them at the end.
I think in the beginning of the year for me though, is like Kevin's bench. It was scary, and I think that was the biggest thing that threw me off. But now it's just looking at it, it's. I mean, he's got some talent because I mean, he's also got the other point. Like when I'm talking about his bench, is that he's got some people on his team that have been injured in the previous times, and did he have anything to back it up? But now I'm just
the guy dropped Mike Williams.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you.
But that was a part of him as well.
Well, he had a deep team. I'm not saying it's a bad thing if your team's deep.
His team was not deep.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, the guy's set with 2 quarterbers and 2 defenses
and 2 tight ends.
He has 2 defenses.
Yeah. Well, he had dropped 1 tight end for another defense. It's just not. He's not doing. It's unorthodox what he's doing.
But he doesn't need it.
Getting,
But
drop a defense, man.
Well, he's doing it because he's streaming, and the other one's Tampa Bay, who he took first. So he's trying to do it right. But you got Kareem Hunt and Deebo Samuel in flex. Normally, you don't feel great about that, but
I feel good about
last week. You feel amazing.
I always felt good about Hunt. I don't know. You should. You should always feel good about Hunt. He's always been a good flex play.
He'll have him as a starter.
It sucks because he's a 2, but
apparently.
when on a 2 on that team, and Hunt especially is proven he's a good play. And obviously Deebo. Oof. What was that?
All of Ayuk, but coming in number 1, I don't think we need to talk about much because. He was number 1 last week.
Yeah, I see plenty of it. So
yeah, highest of a 1, lowest of a 4, and as Logan said, he was the wrong end of that, and I mean,
have that full chub.
Yeah, because that was part of what carried him because it was not his Packers. His beloved Packers had nothing to do with it. So, good job, Robin. But I can tell you there are 3 teams heavily knocking on your door. So, if you want to sustain
this. Sorry, I was thinking of I kept wanting to say Sackers, but I thought of slackers. Go ahead.
Packers. What do you have anything to say about this team? I mean, you saw it firsthand.
No, I mean I keep saying it over and over again. I'm just upset. You know, this was the week. If I was gonna win, this would have been it against him, definitely. I mean, I know I see him again at the end of the year, and we'll see how that goes. But
gosh, 1
well,
point.
remember last year? Yeah. Remember last year, Robin's team was very good early and looked good, and had injuries like crazy. And the poor guy, and he still did well. So if he can avoid him this year, he drafted really well again, and now his team looks really good. If he can avoid the injuries, which I do think he's a less injury-prone team this year, woo, that guy looks poised. He looks really poised. He didn't have an incredible week in terms of points, but he had an incredible week considering his second-round draft pick and his quarterback, who was the MVP last year, totaled him of what, like nine
points. Yeah,
one
9
of them was
points
from Rodgers. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
so.
that's it. It was an impressive week. He beat Logan, who was previously ranked 3. With that, with that being said, it's something. Those are our rankings for week 2, end of week 1. And again, this is consensus. It's not just us, and we're not revealing who was what. I almost did mess that up on our shared doc, but if you want to see more, a little bit more, you want to see these rankings, it is on that shared doc, which along with our bets, which we will talk about here shortly, coming up with Mike here, our guest. So yeah, Mike's going to come on. We've already recorded this, but just a little bit of a spoiler. You all know Mike, normally a host, currently sick, a little sick, has this disease I've heard about. It's a little contagious. Also, something might happen during. I don't know if it was planned or not, but something may happen live during the show involving a host and our league. Yeah. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. You're going to want to stay tuned. We kind of approached Mike this week more.
Try to treat him like a guest.
Yep.
You were the new host.
But I was the guest.
Yeah. But
not really.
We invited you in.
You're the host.
Yeah.
You're a host this week. Mike was a guest, which gave Mike a little bit of opportunity to.
It's good. It's good to introduce half
guest.
of the LT, the
yeah.
You still need to be a guest.
The love terp.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I did used to be on this for a little bit, like 2 years ago. I was pretty regular. So.
Yep. You, Brad. I mean, it's one of those things. We want everyone to be on. Please, if you think you have a good time.
It's so much fun. You guys got to be on
here. And especially now, I mean, with this Zoom, it works really well. I mean, you'll see it with Mike. This wasn't our normal flow because me, Zach, and Mike are pretty used to working with each other. And Mike being a guest, Mike didn't really know how to react, but it still flew. It flowed pretty well.
Yeah.
And yeah, just do this. You can be on a phone. We're fine with it. We want to try to get everyone on here. I think it's great. Yeah. It's fun for the league. Let's go ahead and do it. Money Man Mike, the guy, the
he's
COVID
no longer
man.
Money Man though. I'm the money man.
He's now the COVID man.
The bag.
COVID man and Money Man. Let's go ahead and get him on. I guess since he's been on, it's hard to introduce him. But hey, here he is, Michael, the Money Man. Should I say his last name? Nah. Michael, the Money Man.
Later, Money Man.
See you, man. And here he is, fresh from, he's still on COVID. Michael Lovett.
Yep, still recovering from COVID. How you boys doing?
Oh, pretty good, man. Guys.
I'm excited to be out in the world. How about you? You got cabin fever over there?
Hell yeah, dude. I can't wait for Tuesday next week. I'm going to be running out of the house. So it's driving
What's Tuesday next week?
Huh?
What's Tuesday next week?
My quarantine's over.
Oh, crap.
Well, I don't know the rule. It's like that'll be like the maximum amount of quarantine time I had to have. So I'm trying to be on the safe side. So
I mean that's cool of you. I mean, I respect it. I'm not super afraid of it myself, but I get not spreading it to everybody else. That's a cool thing to do. Yeah. Mike, go ahead and go ahead and talk about your team name, how long you've been playing with this league originally. Have we talked about what this league was originally called? POA Fantasy?
Oh, it was POA. Hell yeah.
It was POA Fantasy at one point. Now Surefire.
Rebranded.
People that don't know, POA stands for Pines of Avon, which is our neighborhood.
The last one's about to move out, even though I've moved back twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, Will, Zach, Jordan, Brad, all lived in there, so half the league.
Yep, half the league.
Represent.
So yeah, Mike, go ahead. What's your team name? How long you've been doing this?
Yeah, so I've been in the league for 5 years, one of the OG members. My team name is Moneyman Mike, so been that way since I think I changed it 3 years ago, and I haven't changed it since. So
I am curious. Do you remember what your name was before that?
The Aces.
The Aces, yeah, you did like the Aces.
But why Money Man?
Moneyman was my name in college. Everybody would call me Money, so I kind of stuck with it. So I think it's cool. It's better. It's a good nickname, so might as well stick with it, right?
Yeah, I think it's good to have a name that, we see your name, we know exactly who that is. I think it's really fun and funny to change your team name a lot, but even me, who's in the league, will look at these scoreboards and it'll be like, no, wait, who is that? And have to click on the team name, try to remember who it is. So I'm glad you stuck with your name. I've been guilty of it. I don't change it as much during the season, but I changed it again. This one I'm going to stick with because it's my name in a lot of other places now. So I'll stick with this name.
Man.
Yeah, that's my goal. But I do like sticking with your name. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think we want to go over a few things with you. We know you're usually a host, so this kind of gives us a chance to actually ask you questions we wouldn't normally.
Celebrity.
Yeah, celebrity. I don't know how.
Logan in the house.
Yeah. Keeping your seat warm for you over here.
Hell yeah, you're doing a great job.
It took us a while to realize it wasn't you. I think we got like 15 minutes in and we were like, oh, shoot, that's not Mike.
I mean, we're both good-looking guys, so it's tough to tell.
Yeah, I think we kind of want to go over a little bit how you drafted, a little bit over, we've talked about it already, but a couple things that's happened, like a specific waiver pickup. I think we all know which one we're talking about.
The new Money Man.
I don't think we need to go over the trade. It was a little insignificant, but I do want to ask you about. I'll start with this. When do you think the trade apocalypse goes down? Because it will happen, like it happens every year. When do you think that starts?
We're definitely poised. We have some tilters in the league, so I feel like if Kevin loses, he's gonna start trading. Like if he loses one game.
If Kevin lost that game,
if he lost that game, he already said he was trading. So I guess he's already kind of traded with the one trade, but pretty insignificant. I think next week we'll see a bunch because there'll be some 0-2 teams, people freaking out a little bit, and people trying to capitalize. So if not this week, it will definitely be next week. I would be shocked if we went through this time next week and didn't have any major trades.
So over under, and this is for everyone, over under 1.5 more trades before Sunday's games.
Over.
Before this Sunday's
games.
Oh, under.
I'd probably go under as well.
I think I'm gonna go under 2.
People are definitely fishing.
I think there'll be over 3 trades though by the time next week. I think it'll be between that Sunday to Wednesday.
I think. Yeah, I would put it. If I were guessing by next week Sunday, I think we'd have 5 or 6. But we'd have a lot.
I'm trying to recall in years past, like we're a trade happy league, but they're pretty spread out. I know there was like week 5 where like 3 or 4 happened, but it's usually just one trade a week. I feel like.
One big trade
I think
that we
one
remember.
Big one. I think those are the ones we remember. I agree. Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, we'd had way more than this before week 2 last year.
No, definitely.
I remember I traded Robin right after week 1.
I think we've actually all kind of wised up to it and how stupid we can be trading people early.
It's that Claybrook house.
It is.
And
I'm stayed away from Kevin with the trading.
And you got it. Don't listen to that man.
Kevin's like the devil.
He told me to play rugs.
Yeah, he told me to play Paris Campbell.
That was the worst one.
Wait. Kevin's the one that told you to play rugs?
Yeah. Oh.
He did give me a lot of confidence into it. He was the first person to say, yeah, play rugs. He said it in the group chat.
Dude, I thought you knew people were fucking with you. Sorry.
Well, all right. That's our one for the episode.
Sorry.
It's all good. No, people weren't even messing with me. And I think Kevin was being weirdly serious. I just think he was. But, like...
manipulative.
I don't think so. I think Kevin truly believed rugs. You think so? You think he was being manipulative?
I think it's the I said it and it happened mentality. And then if it doesn't happen...
It's not his team.
He can say what he wants.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, well, screw it. Who cares? Yeah. Anyways, I care. Anyways, I really want to talk about the one waiver wire pickup that was just massive today. 82% of, was it 82%?
87.
87% of someone's budget. We've already talked about it. We already know it's Logan on Elijah Harris.
Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell.
I can't remember his
49ers.
name because he's just, I don't know. It's weird, but I guess it's a San Francisco thing to have a running back that no one knows all of a sudden be great. Mike, what's your take on this? What do you think? Good, bad, too much? What do you think?
For me, it's too much, but I can't remember your team situation. Let me pull it up. Are you needing running backs like badly?
I didn't think he did. I had no expectation of him taking.
Yeah, and then like I said before, my running back situation right now is a little shaky. I don't know if Najee, how he's going to pull off anything.
Elliott.
So, and I've seen
Or Gaskin.
yeah, and I've already seen Elijah and what he can do. And like they mentioned before, the San Francisco running backs are just too good not to have.
Looking at it now, I get that. You have insane upside and insane downside, even with this pickup.
It's definitely a lottery pick. For sure.
But yeah, we've already kind of given our opinion on it, Mike. So you think he spent too much? Who was the second most on that? Around 50, right?
Me with 50, 52.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I guess if you really need a running back, it's okay. But I'm afraid of the committee there, and you just never know which running back's going to get the touches that week. But with that being said, if Mitchell's anything like he was week 1, it was worth every penny. I would have spent $100 on him.
Even if he gets a couple of games like that, same.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm under the mindset too. If you can win a matchup just by spending fab for so say you get Mitchell and you win 3 matchups, it's easily worth it to me because that fab a lot of times is blown anyways. So if you win 3 matchups with it, I think it's fine. And if he's the sole purpose for you winning it, more kudos to you. I personally wouldn't have done it, but I think me and you are different running back situations. So I kind of see your point. I'm just nervous about your committee with the 49ers.
The way I see fab, and I think you would agree, Mike, at least, is it's for one pickup on the season to get one big pickup, and you're spending half or more on it. And if that's the one you want, you do it, which is why Logan did it. And then the rest is you're spending maybe $1 or $2 to make sure you get a guy that would have been a $0 bid on somebody else. That's especially if you drafted decent enough and you like your team. That's the way I see fab.
But see, that's my concern. When you spend fab because of an injury, it completely makes sense. You're replacing a guy right off the bat. My concern for you is, do you start him? Do you not? You have a pretty deep team, so I think you create a roulette situation is my concern.
Yeah. Well, we've already talked about this a little bit, I guess. We were recording this before we recorded the intro part. We'll hear more of Logan's side on it. I agree with you, Mike, and I agree with Logan. I've been back and forth on it all day. San Francisco running backs scare me, but also scare me to play against. It's one of those things where they're incredible or nothing. So it's good to have one of those on your team. Well, I think we want to get into
RB, if he is an RB1 or 2, your team's amazing, Logan. So I see why you did it. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You guys see this?
Mm-hmm. What?
We just got a
live update.
This guy had insider trading. That's why he did the over. We already have a trade.
Ooh. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
what is it?
I had an upside.
Oh, what?
Mike, you want to read this out?
Yeah, whatever, Zach. Let's see here. Go ahead and read it out. I haven't seen it quite yet. It hasn't come through.
I just made a live trade with Kevin. It's been in the works for the entire
you just
day.
made it right now?
Yep. Gosh, it's been in the
Oh
works.
my God.
I've had so many trade offers today.
This is big.
This is big.
This is the first time this has ever happened?
It's a big one.
Yeah, well, we
live.
received one live, but never one of us.
But you did it.
I did it.
I didn't even know you were doing this.
I received Tyson Williams and AJ Brown for DK Metcalf and Kenneth Gainwell.
And you picked up Kenneth today.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
I love Gainwell. Wow. That's actually a big one. Okay, it's happened.
Why do you love Gainwell?
Did you watch any of that? First off, Boston Scott's nothing. Gainwell should have had 2 touchdowns. One got taken back on some bull crap. He looked really good. Sanders is not an every down back. And if Sanders gets hurt, then Gainwell takes over the situation. Just passes the eye test. But also, Metcalf and maybe Tyreek, but Metcalf specifically is the most traded player in our leagues.
I understand it now. He's a hot commodity. It's too hard not to ship him.
Oh, he's so good, though. I'm going to get him. I'm going to go get him. Brad's chimed in. Nice trade, Kevin. So you can see which side he's on.
So wait, one more time. Read that trade out for me.
It is.
You got
A.J. Brown and Tyson Williams, which is the starting running back for the Ravens.
For now, yeah.
For Kenneth Gainwell and DK Metcalf.
It's so even. A.J. Brown, I don't think Julio's... I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got enough to take A.J. Brown. Tyson Williams, definitely I would choose over Gainwell, right?
Yeah. It's a handcuff scenario for Kevin.
But obviously, I'd rather the upside of Metcalf than A.J. A.J. is not an appealing player either. It's such a good balance. Kevin doesn't lose at all because he has Miles Sanders.
That's the key for him. But DK's inconsistent. Like, it's very tough.
He is.
Because
Lockett hurts.
No, he is not.
Boomer bust.
What did he do week 1?
I'm just saying,
it's 1 week.
I'm not.
I know,
at this point, it's 1 week. But last year, he was very inconsistent. It's either Lockett or him. The touchdown absolutely saved his game this week. And he's a hot commodity. And if A.J. Brown stays healthy, he's a more consistent player.
What do you think, Logan? Happy.
I do like this one for Zach for sure. Honestly, Williams, if he was on, because I'm the big fab guy today, if he was out there on the waiver wire, I probably would have spent a little bit more on him than I would have. I do like Williams a lot there. But yeah.
Williams, the running back for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Tyson Williams. I think Jamal Williams.
Yeah. But A.J. Brown is definitely good. And I agree with Zach a little bit. I had DK last year, and he was kind of hot and cold.
He was.
Yeah. But A.J. Brown, you had him last year too, didn't you?
I actually traded him to Kevin last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's let's see what happens with him. Based on week 1, the way it looked was Julio Jones is the clear number 2. He's older and slower than he ever was. A.J. Brown was a touchdown machine and still is. And he's still the number 1 guy, but that could change. So scary, but also it's Metcalf. He had, especially end of the season, had some bad weeks. Higher upside for Metcalf and higher upside for Tyson Williams. A lot higher upside for Tyson Williams.
Tyson was the kicker. I mean, obviously AJ was picked like 3 picks after DK, but I don't
had a bet
know.
on our game on the under.
What?
Well, I feel like your point potential is going up on that one because you have Tyson now. Crap.
No, actually, the other Williams, Javonte, is projected higher.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, hey, live trade. That's always fun. Mike doesn't super love it for Zach.
I mean, I get it for Zach because he needed a running back really bad, and he got A.J. Brown out of it. I just like DK personally.
I think owning DK can be stressful because you want him to be DK, the person that's talked about, and he's not always that DK. And when he disappears, it feels like he's completely gone.
Yeah.
Have you owned him, Mike? You owned him once.
I owned him at the end of the year last year. I had him I got him from Kevin.
Okay.
He got shipped a lot.
I'd
rather just be a DK fan than a fantasy DK fan.
A really good trade tool though, because of how much people do like him, even when he's not amazing.
I guess my thing is DK and AJ Brown feel like the same player to me.
Yeah, I get
Ole
that.
Miss.
Well,
they're both
only
huge.
one's a lot faster.
And
drafted, I think, in the same round.
Yeah.
They both feel like they can be volatile.
Yeah, they both have a really good wide receiver too, kind of tailing them.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think Julio's a better wide receiver too than Lockett in the past.
Yeah, no, technically as a wide receiver, but not vouching points.
Yeah. Well, that did eat up some time, but that's okay. We kind of had some stuff that's not super huge to go over. That was exciting. Did you? Oh, okay. So did you guys plan that to go through during the podcast?
I made Kevin sweat a while, and then when I waited so long, I was like, I'll make it be a live drop. It was this close.
That's why this guy hit the over on the trades before Sunday.
You might see a smirk happen when I make that bet.
I do think that sparks something in that. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I started Kevin. That's the problem.
And now Kevin's going to be itching. Ah, boy. Mike, we asked this to Coleman last week, and we thought it was a fun question, so we're going to do it for everybody. Who would you say your fantasy rival is in this group?
League.
I would say myself. I mean, I'm always bad on myself. No, I'm just kidding.
Will understands that.
Yeah, I always second guessing myself.
I get destroyed by myself every week. It's not even a rivalry. It's just sadness.
I would honestly say it's probably Zach and Jordan. Is probably my two rivals in the fantasy. Because Zach seems to take me out every freaking year. And then Jordan, I feel like me and him always go head to head pretty hardcore. So yeah, and I don't know. You guys are always at the top, and I feel like I'm usually towards the top as well in most years. So
I think we draft similar as well, so we're always competing. We can never trade, as we know today. It's we think too much alike.
Yeah, I can't trade with you guys either. It's impossible to. I think the podcast makes it even harder. We know so much, but
I can't trade with
Mike. I think I get that for you, especially because based on history, you're always one of the dominant regular season players, pretty consistently dominant. And these guys, Mike and Jordan sometimes, and Zach. Zach, not as much.
Zach's not dominant in the regular season. He built a team for the playoffs.
But they are so good in the playoffs, and you haven't gotten past that hurdle yet. So you're always like the favorite team, the high seed going in, and they end up winning it. So that makes sense to me. Is that
why we put the trophy on his side, just to give him
to make me
chance
feel
to be near it?
Regular season wise, he's up there. So yeah, that's interesting. Mike, as of right now, let's go ahead and ask. I know it's early on, but if you were to pick one champ and 4 people not to make the playoffs, who would you be taking? Sorry, Zach, I didn't realize.
I would say if I had to predict with current rosters, I would say Jordan. Because I think his running back depth is good. His wide receiver depth is really good. He has Michael Thomas on the bench coming off towards the end of the year. So I see a lot of potential from Jordan's team. He's got the depth too. Huh?
That loss is going to hurt him.
No. With 6 teams making it, he'll be fine.
James Robinson is absolute booty.
Yeah, but I mean, it's week 1, too. We'll see what happens with it.
That was against a crappy defense.
I know. And that's his question mark, honestly. And honestly, if he continues down this path, he can put Antonio Brown in the flex and just roll with Robinson on the bench. And then he has Michael Thomas.
You make a good point there, Mike, with Michael Thomas. James Winston looked great.
Yes.
Throwing the ball,
exactly.
But what happens if Jordan gets 1 running back injury to his 2 that he has? Then he's so screwed.
See, I hate these what ifs. It's the one I'm
no
looking at
what ifs in
you
that
know?
case. Other people have options to replace those guys, and Jordan doesn't have those options. Well, Zach doesn't either. That's a problem for me when you don't have an okay enough replacement.
Yeah, so I know Coleman picked Robin last week, right? What if Nick Chubb tears his ACL and is out for the season? I mean, that destroys this team. So
sorry, Robin.
Yep, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I don't like Robin.
That's not even Robin's team though anymore. That draft board's going dead.
What do you mean?
Robin hasn't done anything.
He doesn't have Jamal Williams anymore.
Well, that was for Kenyon Drake. That was it.
Kenyon Drake. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
I hope Nick Chubb doesn't tear his ACL.
Me too.
Don't want that to be said.
He does not deserve it after last
again.
year. Hell no.
I like Nick Chubb a lot.
Oh, that's
Knocking
not
on some
good.
wood.
Now be the bad guy. Who's the 4 teams not making it?
Oh yeah, crap. Sorry, Will.
I can tell you
You'll be
one of them.
Coleman will be
I am making
the other one.
all the haters wrong.
Dalton will probably be the third one, and then.
Ooh, that's where it gets
Sorry,
tough.
Brad. I think you're gonna have some issues going down the line. I'm gonna pick Brad as well. So
Was Coleman the one of them?
So it's Coleman, Will, Dalton, and Brad.
With Jordan as the champ. The two-time.
He's not the original two-time, but he's going to be maybe a two-time.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't pick yourself, right? So.
That list makes sense.
Yeah.
That list does pretty much reflect our rankings as well.
It does.
All right, Mike. So I got another question for you here. Other than DK and Tyreek Hill, who's your favorite player that's on another person's team right now?
I'm glad you omitted DK.
So I kind of look back and I wish I would have pulled the trigger on Chubb. I kind of really do, because I went into it thinking I was going to pick Chubb or Barkley, and I still think Barkley is going to be okay, but I didn't realize how long it was going to take me to wait for him, and I'm willing to wait because coming away with a win week 1 makes it easier. And I think I can win despite him having subpar weeks, but looking back, I really wish I would have picked Chubb because I think he's going to be consistent throughout the whole year. So, and I think me and you were looking at Logan, and Chubb was on pace to have like a number 1 running back season last year if he didn't get hurt, right?
Yeah,
I'd imagine.
I think he missed like 4 games and was still right behind in like 4th or 3rd. So
I've been saying for the last maybe just a year, but that as a running back goes, I think Chubb is the most talented in the NFL. I think he's so good.
I used to have him on my team, but then when he blew up, it's so hard to pay that price tag nowadays.
It's also hard though, Mike, seeing Barkley fall into your lap. You know, when at pick 8, you're in a tough position there. Yeah,
Saquon's my guy, man. I love him, huh?
He's a top 3 running back technically, but
he is when healthy, honestly. And so I think he's going to get back. Probably not this week, honestly. I'm not expecting much. But yeah, I think moving forward, I think he's going to develop more and more and get back to his old self. So it's hard for me to pass on Saquon too. I have a
did the Giants win their game?
No,
they lost.
Need them to win.
The football team Thursday.
He only had 10 carries. He had a couple targets. It's what he did with them. They didn't look. I'm sure you're right. It'll come, but it's not yet. It's not this week either. If it comes, it's going to be 3 weeks, I think, at least. But if you can weather that storm, then that's great because he will come back. He's a talent. I mean,
and he's got game 1 down. So I mean, he's up already.
The jitters
got hit.
And he's fine.
Now we can practice hard this week.
Yeah.
Let's go over this week's upcoming matchups. It's 5 total matchups. What do we think is going to happen? What's the spread on these? Thanks to the sportsbook, Love It Turpin Sportsbook, which is not official. Don't come after us, government, or whoever would come after us for that. It's not very much money.
So we got it's not.
It's
max bet $5.
We did have some bets last week, right?
We did, yeah.
Anyone come away a winner?
So, Mike, you mind if I take this one? Yeah, so we did have Brad. Yeah, he bet on himself, and he made a good bet there. So.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And he won $10.
Yeah, he won $10. So he bet the max on himself. And
he bet 5?
Yeah.
Confidence.
Dude, he bet on himself, he had those good odds. I think our odds were very nerve-wracking last week. I'm glad we didn't get too much action.
I think there's some weird ones this week. The 2 prop bets seem impossible to hit. Well, not impossible. They seem possible to hit, but they seem low odds. I think that Brad looked like the worst team in the league for the first half of the first games last week. And then suddenly everything, when DeAndre Swift got his touchdown, Brad looked incredible.
And that Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill
that was like 20-something points. That's what won him I'm about to cuss. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brad almost lost to Zach that didn't have a starting running back in his lineup. That's where I was at on, but he's dropped 120. So I mean,
that's a good week.
It
did.
It's a good week. Yeah, I'm not, but like he almost did. Is where I was.
Was that the only bet that was made last week?
I think I made one for Coleman to win and then one for Dalt to win. So I think
put 2 on Dalt, Zach, and you put 1 on Coleman. So it evened out,
negated each other.
Negated each other. So don't be afraid to bet, guys. It's fun. So
now that I'm looking at it, and remember the bets are on our share doc that you guys all have access to. The odds, all that stuff is on the prop bets, the odds, which I'm sure more can be added, more can be taken away, whatever. It'd be cool if we did. I'm just now thinking of this live, so sorry if this isn't something you guys want to do. But we added for a certain game, like a Sunday night game coming up or a Monday night game, you throw another prop bet on there, and I mean those kinds of things. But always be checking up on that if you want to make any bets. I've made one already this week. Luckily, I'm allowed to make them now because I don't pick the odds, which is fun. I enjoy betting.
Well, I think Brad's going to bet all $5 on himself every week, especially if he's not the favorite. So, but
this is a good way to make money if you're the house.
But as we move into week 2, matchup number 1, we have Mike coming in as the favorite at -150, going against Coleman, the underdog at +125. With an over-under of 229.5, which is actually one of the lower ones. Yeah. So,
what we saw from Coleman last week, I think, made it go down a little more. So,
hope Mike carries that.
Logan had pretty long discussions about it, and we were a little nervous about the over/under. So,
So, Will, how you feeling about this matchup? You just lost to Coleman. So,
yeah.
You handed him the win.
Yeah.
If you're not going to use Josh Jacobs, I'll take him.
Well, I did the thing that I always do, and I lost to Coleman, and it's okay. So I texted in the group chat of my potentially $700 winning thing, which I did lose, but I thought I was going to looked good. I was very truthfully, no exaggeration, I would have taken that loss and not won $700 to win that matchup. I was so much more invested in beating Coleman, and I lost.
You end up losing both.
And then I lost $700. So, yeah, that was just me being stupid. Coleman's team looked unimpressive, second lowest scoring team in the league. Yeah, it was the poop bowl, as Logan pointed out, which I may or may not have taken a screenshot when he said that to prepare him to see what my team would do in the second half when I dropped 130 and then I dropped 80. So that screenshot's now been deleted. Yeah, I do like Coleman's team and don't like Mike's team in terms of the players. But if I'd still pick Mike. Hey,
not verbal.
You can't see me. You didn't see me do it. I'm gonna whip it out.
No, I'd still pick Mike to win this game, right?
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
You guys go ahead.
Put all your money on me. I'm gonna win this game.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I have no faith in Coleman at this point. I do like his team. He's maybe one roster move away from solidifying himself, but I just can't forget what happened. Mike wins this pretty easy.
And I had a subpar week. I'm going to talk myself up because I usually don't do it on the podcast.
Go ahead.
I got to. But I had a subpar week with Josh Allen with 17 points. Saquon got me 3 points, and I still dropped 118. And I had just 1 touchdown performances from Robbie Anderson and Devontae Smith. I'd had an okay week.
You do have to remember, though, Coleman does have your wide receiver with Josh Allen. So.
Now that I'm not playing against Coleman and looking at his team, it actually does look good. Coleman's team looks good. Edmonds versus Minnesota.
Yeah, Edmonds, Connor.
All the rest obviously are good. A lot of the other ones obviously are good.
Who you got, Logan?
Herbert.
I like the
Dallas.
line here. I'm gonna take Mike on this one.
ESPN's line has. We should say ESPN's line. It's almost dead even.
It is dead even. Yeah.
Logan has him by 0.1. Or sorry, Coleman has him by 0.1. And what is it in our fantasy sportsbook? What did you guys decide?
Mike's actually
Mike's favored.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If I'm putting real money on it, I'm truthful, and I don't know who you guys are. I'm truthfully taking Coleman. Sorry, Mike. I like Coleman's team, especially with the matchups.
It's whatever.
Yeah, but
you gotta make your decisions at the end of the day, and you gotta.
I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm clearly. If I pick against you, you should be happy. You're probably gonna win. Congratulations.
Can we move to the matchup of the week?
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So here is the matchup of the week for these two. Matchup 2 here we have Zach and Will, and
hey,
Zach starts off as the favorite this week, and I guess I'd like to get your guys' just what's your thing? Just a quick thought.
I'm projected lower than anybody by a lot.
Yeah. Makes me feel good. I'm not far behind him or ahead of him, I guess I should say. But
I think I win this game.
It is.
I think you do
Of course
too.
I do.
I think you do too.
Of course I think I'm going to win my game.
I think AJ Brown scores 2 touchdowns, maybe 3.
I think Zach wins this one. I think I'm going to go behind the shed and pull some sort of trigger type thing.
So let's just call your updated team, Zach. I think Zach wins. Yeah. Sorry, Will.
My projection.
Well, we made them projections. They already know what we think. So.
Yeah.
But I would have to say this is the lowest over under on you guys. So
I did take the over. I bet the over in this.
Let's do it. I'll do that.
Freaking Odell, man.
Yeah, he's not playing.
I hate
over under scare me. The sports book's still trying to figure that out.
yeah,
you
can take it easy on us.
Yeah.
Mike, can you
hammering those?
Can you see the matchups from there? Can you read them all for us?
I have.
So wait, Mike, who were you taking that, Zach? And did you say Zach as well?
Yeah, we made the.
Well, you guys joint made it though, so I mean, individually, you guys could have. I mean, we shouldn't assume that's always the same.
That's true. That's true.
It is.
So you want me to read off the matchups? Is that
just read up the next one you haven't read off yet.
Oh crap! And we have Brad versus Kevin, and the Ginger is a plus 120 on this one, and Kevin's a negative 140. So Kevin's the favorite, and the over/under is 237.5. What do you boys think?
That's a lot of Kevin points right there.
Oh, Kevin's favorite. Okay.
8 on the Ginger.
It's a high over/under. In fact, it's the highest on the week for the over/under, and it should be. It makes sense. There's some juicy matchups and some juicy players in this. Whoo, guys, I don't know. What do you think? I like Kevin's team. Looking at it, but crap, it could go either way.
Tyreek Hill has a mediocre game where people don't like him and maybe trade him away for like a 10th round pick. So Kevin wins. Brad doesn't skate by like he did last time. He has a great team, but Kevin's built to win right now.
He has good matchups. Kevin does really good looking at them.
And he had the most points last week, and his team's just started out really well, really on fire. So we're going to keep it going with matchup.
Debo Samuel, though, that I don't see that performance again.
Is Ayuk out? Will?
Whatever. It's
pretty much. He's in the doghouse.
Yeah. He's hamstring too. I can't drop him.
Debo to
but
keep
whatever.
doing what he's doing then.
I don't think the Detroit Lions defense is next level bad. I don't think it'll be that good. Usually that's a running team. They got a lot of big passing touchdowns. I think Debo's still good, but not that. Nowhere near that.
I think
I definitely still take Kevin.
I'm going to go with Brad with the upset, even against our sports book. Brad's going to get the upset, so.
Well, Brad will better be sending you $5 tomorrow and saying the same thing.
Yeah, he will. I think Jones and Swift and Hill and Julio are going to have great games, honestly.
Julio's the big question for me on that team.
He's found Jamar Chase, too. Brad, go with your gut, man. Just pick who you like.
Yeah. If Pitts works out, then all his gut choices
play
work.
Madden.
Yeah. Pitts was better than Andrews.
Yeah, but I'm saying if Pitts
you're
works
talk
out,
some shade, let's talk some shade then.
Okay, thank you for the $10.
Thank you for the jersey.
That's not official. You're up by a
At
point.
the end of the year, we'll be.
Hey, you're up by a point.
All right,
we're gonna move on to.
Well, what did you guys take? You guys both took Kevin?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Moving on
to matchup 4 here. We have Jordan and Robin, and it's actually even. So
that's a big matchup.
It is. These two, Robin and Jordan have the 2 best teams in the league. Top.
Yeah.
So.
See,
keep them there.
This is a scenario that I'm usually in, but can Jordan recover from a 0-2 start with some question marks on his team still? It is kind of scary to me to see because there's so many good teams in the league, but focusing on this matchup, I guess at the end of the this one's tough.
This one's easy. This is so easy.
But I've ranked an individual higher. I'm picking Jordan this game.
Well,
Robin absolutely destroys. It's not even close. Jordan cries and trays all of his players. The poor guy. He got destroyed by Kevin. And he starts using excuses during his trades and blah, 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 blah. It's Robinson, bad. Woods, the number 2 against Indiana. As I now know, Xavier Woods is coming back. The Cooper against the Chargers, probably good. Goddard, no, that could be any tight end there. David Johnson, is that who that is? Deontay Johnson. Okay, one of 3 guys. Mixing great, but look at until injuries happen. Look at Robin's players; they're just insane. Everyone is so good. By the way, that Higgins call you made last week, Higgins out for the season. Jamar,
I didn't say out. For
I just believed that blindly.
I said out on a cart. But he just needed an IV. I've never seen someone need carted to get an IV. It's crazy.
Even if it was close, Waller Goddard matchup just ends it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take Robin on this one too. I had Robin where I wanted him. Aaron Rodgers didn't do very well. Devontae Adams didn't do very well, and I couldn't finish it off. So Robin's gonna keep it going.
That is scary.
Yeah, he won with Rodgers.
His 2 main, I think, 2 of his biggest players did nothing, and he still came out with a 116, I believe. So
Jordan, come out strong for me. Rodgers is gonna ball out against the Lions. So, dang, who you got, Mike?
Will.
I'm gonna go with Robin. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams are gonna be a good stack this week, and then Nick Chubb against Houston's pretty favorable. So I'm gonna go with Robin.
You're admitting to putting Jordan over Robin in the rankings, huh?
Yeah. I stand by where I rank Robin. So
he doesn't like Robin.
I do not like Robin.
I think their friendship is going down the drain. It's sad to see.
He says some mean things.
And matchup number 5, we have Logan coming in as the favorite at 125 and Dalt as the underdog at a positive 120 with an over-under of 231.5.
Why are you shaking your head?
I want to put a bet on that game for Dalton. I want $2 on it, please.
Wow.
I'm looking at the matchups. I hadn't seen them. They are insane for Dalton.
Just like that.
Lamar Jackson versus Kansas City, who let the Browns torch him. Cook against Arizona. Ronald Jones against Atlanta. Whatever, it's Ronald Jones. It's Atlanta, who supposedly is the worst rushing defense in the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins against Minnesota. Justin Jefferson against Arizona. Mark Andrews again against Kansas City, torching them, blah, 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 blah. Harris against the Jets. His matchups are stupid. They're so good.
I pick Logan by 10.
No.
I think Dalton's going to lose, too. I think Logan's going to win.
Dalton gets so much hate, poor guy.
I think it's a very pivotal week for you, Logan, though.
I agree.
Logan's got
both these teams 0-1.
We're both on 1, yep.
Mark Andrews worries me. He just does. And I don't
If he
like
gets
the
that
Tampa
touchdown,
Bay
though, with the
running
staff.
backs. Huh?
I don't like it. I don't like Tampa Bay running backs either, but against Atlanta, and he's still technically the one. I don't see how he doesn't get at least his projection of 7, but I don't see how he doesn't get 10.
Here's how I view Logan's team. Everyone but Hawkinson and Lockett have something to prove, and they're going to prove it this week. And because Dak did, but he's got to back it up. I think all his players ball out of principle.
I like Logan's matchups too, and I like Logan's team more, especially upside wise. But the matchups, there's not a good defense that Dalt's playing other than Boyd for Chicago, which maybe is an okay defense. I don't know. Other than that, they're all horrible, horrible defenses. I mean, his matchups are so good. And if he gets the touchdown from Andrews, woof.
It's week 2.
Mike?
Was Andrews even in that much? Sorry. Yeah.
He was in. They just didn't throw it to him much. I don't know if it was a game script or what.
Because he doesn't have a quarterback on his team.
Andrews has bad weeks. It's a thing. Tight ends, though.
Yeah.
You got paid. You get paid. Did you take a pick, Mike? I'm just waiting for you to pick here.
He said
I picked Logan.
Oh, you said Logan? Okay. So I'm alone in the Dalt. I'm $2 on Dalt. Put it on the board.
Text it to me and Logan. Any bet is sent to me and Logan.
I have to text it.
Yep.
You have to make it official.
It's on the podcast.
No, you have to text us because we won't remember.
Okay, well, remind me.
It has to be like an official thing. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I said
it is. We're trying to get it set up in the Discord, so it's a little easier.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I think that's it for the matchups.
Mike, do we have prop bets this week?
Yeah, Logan, you want to read them off for us?
Yeah. So we have 2 prop bets this week. So the first one is the league scores a total of over 1,250 points.
And for background knowledge, is the league scored 1150 last week, so it's 100 more points.
Yeah, and this is setting up plus 200.
So bet $10, win 20, get back 30.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, bet 5, win back 10, win or get back 15, win 10.
Yep. And then for the second one, we have here any player to have over 40 fantasy points, and that's setting at plus 250.
I want to know the background knowledge on that one. When's the last time that
Mari had 32 last week.
32.
Wow.
So
what did Tyreek Hill have? Like 29?
Yeah, I mean it's not likely, but I mean that's
I got that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna put in odds of plus 500 and have me and Logan be paying out a bunch of money here. So that's why I kept
get that.
It low. So
I think
I can't set like a plus $1,000 odd on it. So I can't. We can't do that. Like,
I feel you. No, you definitely can't. I think you can't go higher than 500. And this is you guys. If people aren't betting on it, then you guys can look into changing. If people are betting on it and you win, I mean, you're the house, so you do your thing.
You think Dalt's going to get that?
What's that?
You think Dalt's going to get that? Mark Andrews over 40?
No, I think Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson over 40. Good chance.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
that's not an I would hope so. 2 people combined over 40. That's a great. That's
quarterback
a great performance.
28, 29, tight end 12.
28-29 would have been really, really good quarterback last week. 12 would have been good tight end. Would have been good. Yeah, so that's it for the matchups. That's it for the bets. I think that's about it for the show. We had a great time talking to Mike as the guest.
Mm-hmm.
It's been different.
No, it's been great. I haven't missed him a bit. It's like he's still here.
I'm going to take over.
He talks about you. He's been talking about you the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for having me on, guys. Hope I'm in there.
You're welcome for coming on your podcast or for inviting you onto your own podcast.
Yeah, thanks for letting me take your spot. I guess you really didn't have a choice, but it's been fun.
Did a great job. You did a great job, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And thanks, guys.
Yep. See you, man. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.